Shut up and sit down.
It's where the big boys play. SICW.
Okay.
Welcome to Bruiser Brody Podcast, everybody. Episode 110. This last week, we had our Fan Fest 3 at the St. Louis Hilton, which a lot better than the Aviator. The Aviator is out of business, thank God, because it was absolutely trash. Hotel was nice in the lobby. Just the way they managed it was not, and obviously it didn't do well because it's out of business.
Right, and it actually changed management twice since we've been there, so it was no wonders why it went out of business. But yeah, hell of a fan fest. Definitely had a great time. I think you have a clip of
our Friday night. Yeah, I'm not feeling well, guys. So if you're watching, my voice is going to go in and out, and Bobby and Jim are going to, well, Bobby needs to talk more. He'll pick up the slack from not talking.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Hello, wrestling fans. I am Drew Ebenhaus here, live from the Airport Hilton in St. Louis, Missouri. And on today's very special SICW All-Star Wrestling, we're going to show you what happened when the one and only Bill Apter led a Q&A session in front of the great wrestling fans here at FanFest 3.
You doing all right? So who is your favorite wrestler of all time? Well, who's your second favorite? Who's your favorite WWE?
dumped him.
Him and
James Jeffries.
oh, okay, all right.
Not what Bill was expecting.
Nope.
For this weekend, so we can't wait to get started. Can you put up your fist and go, we can't wait to get started, brother? What you gonna do when SICW runs all over you, man? Wait.
I think that might be copyrighted.
By us.
I got Abdullah. You know where he went to school? He went to Fork U.
No. His favorite joke.
Fuck you.
Yeah, so it was a fun night. It was Friday, it was Saturday. For some of us, it was Sunday. Just kidding. It was just the ones that stayed overnight Saturday. We're all departing on Sunday. But yeah,
The
so
hangover
Friday night,
was Sunday.
Friday night started with the Bill Apter. Did I get it right?
I think you got it that time.
I had to second guess myself. Q&A. And we had, Tito Santana up there. We had the Rock and Roll Express. Let's see, we had Abdullah the Butcher. And a lot of fans there was asking a lot of cool questions. There was even some questions about some of us, whether it be Attila or the Big Texan or Bobby D. So it was kind of cool that we were elevated in that Q&A special. So that was kind of cool. But a lot of cool questions about different matches, talking about Abdullah the Butcher versus Bruiser Brody, and some Japan questions about how the fans reacted to wrestlers in Japan, especially with Brody always swinging that chain down to the ring. So if you guys were there, thank you for showing up to FanFest. Very cool. I think the Q&A lasted maybe an hour and a half or so, because I know at one point he said, well, okay, we're going to stop taking questions. And then, 3 or 4 more questions later, we actually wrapped up. So it was very cool if you were able to make it out. If you weren't, there's talks of FanFest 4 already, but you never know, because it definitely is a big, I wouldn't say burden, but it's a big to-do to get everything situated right. Because
a lot of stress involved.
A lot of stress involved. And, of course, there's really one man that heads up SICW, and that is Herd Simmons. And, he takes a blunt of a lot of the stress. some wrestlers weren't able to make it. So you had one of my ones that I wanted to personally meet, Kevin Von Erich. We had that horrible tornado storm, over the weekend. And where he lives in Texas, they were having a storm and they kept canceling his planes. So eventually it was just a no-go for Kevin Von Erich. And there was I think, one more. Was it one or two more?
Bobby said Matt Riddle canceled too.
Yeah, Matt Riddle came down where he was sick or something like that, and didn't want to make it. But other than that, Saturday, well, let me just say, Friday, a lot of us stayed at the bar in the hotel and socialized and drank and everything. So we had a good time Friday night, which led into Saturday. We opened the doors at 10 o'clock in the morning. The legends were there, and it was a packed house right from the get-go. And so we had the Rock and Roll Express there. We had Devon Dudley. We had, of course, Abdullah the Butcher. A big one that stood out was the worm guy. I can't even think of his name.
Hottie Too Hottie.
No.
Oh no.
Scotty Too Hottie was not there.
I know, but I was just watching a YouTube clip earlier of Scotty Too Hottie doing the worm. No, you're talking about Boogeyman.
Boogeyman. Yeah, so Rikishi was also another big one. Those were probably the biggest two lines going. But we had Dory Funk Jr., Baby Doll was there. Like that one whole corner was Devon Dudley, Rikishi, Jacqueline. I think there was someone else in that corner, but that whole one corner was packed for a while. And then Boogeyman showed up, and then he took off. He took all the fans away from everyone because everyone wanted to meet with Boogeyman.
Well, if you actually watched him over there, he gave the fans an experience with their photo and whatnot. Like, there was one time where there was a taller guy that wanted to take a picture, and I saw him taking chairs over there so he could climb up on top of the chairs to get up on the guy and put his claws on him, and like he got like a whole to do with the fans.
Yes. Jerry Lawler was there. Valentine, Greg the Hammer Valentine, and Tito Santana, which one of our friends from the Ace Wrestling Academy, he had the green Intercontinental Championship made like a year or so ago. So he got, and they call it the big green belt. And only two wrestlers held that belt before they changed it. And it was Greg the Hammer Valentine and Tito Santana. And so he got that autographed and had a cool picture of them fighting over the belt. So that was very cool. Bob Orton Jr., of course, was there. He's our champion in our books. Let's see here. Of course, Ivan Koloff. He was there. There was so many wrestling legends that you can go around the room and meet. And what was cool about it, and I kind of had a part of this, is we set up the wrestlers in like stages. So you had Bob Orton Jr., Greg the Hammer Valentine, and Tito Santana in one area, and then you had a couple of the Memphis guys in one area. The Rock and Roll Express, Jerry the King Lawler, Gerald Briscoe was there. Then you had Mac Davis and Teddy Long in their spot, and of course they did their broadcast there too. So a lot of cool things were happening Saturday. But I went live via TikTok and Facebook and YouTube, and a lot of people,
and you even thought you went live more than you did.
Yeah, I tried to live more, but Facebook is where drew the most people, and they were commenting that they wish they could be there, and happened to be the wrong weekend for them, but man, they wish they could have came. So it was a pretty cool experience. I guess I'm going to go through a couple things while this is going on, because At the Fan Fest, I didn't want a table. The last 2 years, I had a table, and yeah, you get some fans coming by and getting your, wanting your autograph and stuff like that. And but they're not here for me. They might be here for Bobby since he's the champion this year, or maybe for Attila because Attila does these cool, awesome paintings, and he normally sells through a couple of paintings each time. But they're here for the legends, and I'm here for the legends. So some very cool things that I got. Some I showed off that I was going to have signed. I think I showed them off last week, which was a couple of the pictures. Let me just get them out here. So it was very cool because we actually talked about this match before on the podcast. This is Bruiser Brody, Lex Luger, and this is Fonzie. This is the steel cage match where Bruiser Brody was not fucking around with Lex Luger and wasn't reacting to anything Lex Luger did to him. And eventually Lex Luger got scared and climbed out of the cage and left the building. So this is very cool. It's actually signed by Fonzie. It's, so that was awesome. Definitely Rock and Roll Express. Very cool. I was, the last time they came through, we were all celebrating in the locker room, and they were. As soon as I showed him the picture, he goes, Robert, he goes, I remember that place, and Morton was like, I told you I didn't want to drink, but I am drinking with you. And I said, well, we had to celebrate, But
Well,
very cool.
Susie made an appearance Friday night, so.
Right. And then I haven't put it in a frame. I don't know how I want to frame this. So this is me, Herb Simmons, and Abdullah the Butcher. Abdullah the Butcher signed it. It was his nephew, I think, that posted this picture on Facebook. And when I presented it to Abdul, he was like, oh, I'm the one that took that picture, and looked up on his phone. He goes, here it is right here. So that was kind of cool. But Abdul, man, he was just great the whole weekend. And he took this picture away from me and signed it and then flipped it over, and I couldn't tell what he was doing. But his nephew was like, he does a certain drawing for people that he really likes. So on the back of the picture, he drew himself. I'm assuming we'll just say it's a cigar for now. So I don't know how I want to, post this picture, if I'm just going to laminate both sides or something.
I bet you there's some kind of clear picture frame with the, on both sides that you can rotate it.
I'm going to have to search it because I don't want to hide the personalized drawing, that was very cool.
Whatever you do, just keep it out of the sun.
Right. Well, it's definitely going to be in my little corner office space. But something else I showed off on the podcast a couple months ago was the Shane action figure. So Shane Douglas, it was one of his first ones for ECW. He autographed that for me. So definitely very cool to have that done. Speaking of the Butcher, I had those other action figures that I got that weren't in the box, but he was actually selling the newest one from Heels and Faces, and he autographed that one for me too. So I got a nice little Abdullah the Butcher, stuff going on here because I got a pre-order, those big giant ones that we talked about in some previous podcasts. I think it was called the Pinnacle line. That's, it's a pre-order, so who knows when that's going to come. Normally it's like 6 months after you buy it. You almost forget about that it's coming, and then all of a sudden you get a surprise at the door. But that was cool that he had, because I am an action figure guy, and to have one meant in the box, in the package with him autographing it. We had a couple of, I guess you would call them, what would you call them? Those people that just come with a whole bunch of wrestlers.
Like the toy stands or.
It's like a couple guys were, come in as sponsors, I guess you would say, where they come in with their collections and sell them. And one of the guys had.
Yeah,
Wow.
because he's frozen. They had Cowboy Bob Orton.
Yep.
Looks like in the package still.
Mint.
Mint. And so Bob signed that for me, of course.
Yeah, I was gonna say we don't see a signature, so I was wondering if he signed it.
Your microphone just turned off. Oh, now it's back on, but I can't hear you.
I think
Can't hear me?
you're connecting to your earpods again. Because you're going in and out, your microphone's turning on and off.
I think it's it started to rain over here, so I don't know if that's taken effect with you guys yet, but I can hear it.
I don't know, you're like a couple miles away from me, so I wouldn't hear it for a bit.
Yeah, Bobby's right down the road, so he'll hear it first.
I'm in the middle of you two.
Right.
You are.
Your weather all the way down there in Texas.
But yeah, like I said, Bob's probably signed 4 or 5 not pictures, but figures for me that's been released through the years. So I've got those. Same stand. I've got always a Ultimate Warrior kid, so I got one of those. Would love to have it autographed, but that's not going to happen.
The squared ring Ouija board section.
Well, there's a lot of autographs out there because, that website that I got Hulk Hogan's boot from, every now and then we'll have an Ultimate Warrior or something, whether it be a picture or they had an action figure the last time I looked, but that 280, can't talk, $280. So that's on my price range. But very cool, this Fan Fest. I just I wanted to go and meet the friends that I have a personal connection with. Of course, I wanted to meet them all, but only certain ones I actually, sit down with and get their autographs and stuff like that. The Rock and Roll Express, we had a great time the last time we hung out. And Gibson is just an awesome guy. He will sit down and have a conversation with anyone. And as soon as I showed him the picture, he was, I remember. And even when I was walking up to him, guy, I said, not much. I said, time we got together, party in the locker room, and it wasn't just them. Jerry the King Lawler was there. It was our Halloween special, so we had a coup.
And Jerry was there on Saturday too.
Yeah, Jerry was there Saturday, and he looked good, but at the same time, kind of worried about him. Everybody's talking about how he was never one to be a big drinker or doesn't do drugs or anything like that, and then this heart attack out of nowhere, it's kind of like drilled him. He was taking small steps everywhere. He was afraid to take any big steps or move fast. So he was walking very slow to everywhere he needed to go. So just, I would say, keep your prayer because there's still something wrong with Jerry Lawler. But other than that, he was in high spirits, and man, he talked to everyone, signed everyone's stuff that they wanted. So very cool. Jerry Lawler was. A couple other things I did get. There was 2 books. Well, one book, from our podcast, For the Love of the Show, Part 2.
Was Jeremy there on Friday or only Saturday?
He was only there on Saturday, so I was able to talk to him a little bit about the book. Got him to sign it for me, so that's very cool. Related to us and the podcast. I love the AWA, and Joyce was there. She's the author of this book It's called My Ringside Seat to the AWA. She was associated with the AWA. She was someone who worked for them. Even the forward is by Sergeant Slaughter. But she was at, she might have been at the CACs too, but I remember her mostly from being in the last year's Iowa show at their Hall of Fame. And I was going to pick it up there, but I ended up picking up another books. But she autographed it for me, and she was on cool stuff that I picked up. Their programs. Oh, here we are. We got NWA Wrestling Magazine. It's like a promo thing. NWA Championship. I haven't looked into them yet because I've had so much stuff. Oh, shoot. I met Brandon and he autographed a picture for me, which was extremely cool. He's part of the new NWA and current tag team champion of OVW. But in the same line, as soon as I got Brandon's autograph, Glenn came over and gave me a picture of him, and he wrote down 2 texts. Love your favorite wrestler, Big Nasty. So I do, it's so I need starting paper, as I call it. So stuff that you roll up and you can light, put it in the wood. So that, thank you, Glenn, for that. Everyone needs that. I had a small fire going outside earlier before the podcast, and I should have grabbed that. I didn't. I forgot all about it. Frank, good podcast, gave us stuff that we haven't released yet, but we soon will. With sick, but he does St. Louis Classic. I'm going to butcher his St. Louis programs.
That's
I think.
okay. You're cutting it out anyway, so you can butcher it all. No one will know.
Well, I think it's programs on Facebook, but some people reached out to him. Had a collection of Bobby Shane. He was a wrestler back in the 60s, 70s, and he gave me Shane as well. But it goes through a whole bunch of stuff, and so I'm going to read up on this. But he got personal photos and like promo cards and a bunch of stuff of this Bobby Shane guy. Definitely gonna have to read up on him. What did you pick up, Bobby? Did you get anything cool?
So you talked about like the vendors. Jason Jones had a bunch of different stuff setting out, and he had a wrestlers magazine, and it had the Rock and Roll Express on it. And Morton comes by and says, "Hey, if anyone buys that, send them down to our table, and we'll autograph it for them." So I instantly bought that and got their autograph on there.
That's awesome. There, I used to collect those magazines, and man, I had stacks upon stacks of those magazines. Sold those off too, so probably get back into that eventually.
I say, I don't know if I ever showed this, but you talked about pristine auctions. I did get my D'Lo Brown pristine auction autograph picture.
There we go.
I don't know if I ever showed that or not.
Yeah.
And then this isn't from FanFest, but they did come in my Cabbage Patch Kid.
Yeah, I like that. That is so cool.
Garbage Pail Kid, sorry. With my little custom backing on it.
There you go.
So I'll be selling those at the shows.
Man, it was just a fun time. They had the Hall of Fame. I filled in for Nate for filming, so I was able to walk around and even during the Fan Fest, I walked around and talked to some of the legends and interviewed them. So Gangrel was a great guy. He just I had a few questions for him, and he just answered everything I wanted to know. He told us about his figures that are coming out. Talked to Andrew Anderson. He was another one. Of course, well, can't think of the ref's name. I'm horrible at names, but we had an ex WWE referee who actually wrestled my match Saturday. He was a great interview. So it was a pretty good time, hands down.
And
I was able
we have a special interview coming out probably Thursday morning.
Yeah, there was. We'll lead to it, but yeah. So there's a couple cool things that we're gonna promote out here. But
It's a special one you're going to have to watch to find out. We're not going to tell you.
but after the fan fest was over, the signing autographs, meeting the legends, we did the Hall of Fame, and I was able to record the whole Hall of Fame for us. So that'll be in there, and started out talking about Sabu and Shane, Douglas and Fozzy got into the ring, and so did I think it was Bill Apter that got in the ring too, and they were talking about Sabu, telling some stories, and did a nice little tribute to him, and then we went into the rest of the Hall of Fame, talking about and I might have butchered that earlier. I think I said Ivan was there. It was Nikita that was there. But Nikita was there to induct Ivan into the Hall of Fame. And Nikita is still in great shape. He can probably go out there and wrestle right now if someone paid him good money to. Yeah, that was cool. Let's see here. Who else went in to the Hall of Fame? Dory Funk Sr. went into the Hall of Fame, and of course, Dory Funk was able to talk a bit about his dad. And he also talked about Terry and himself wrestling in St. Louis. So that was cool stories. Ron Powers went into the Hall of Fame. Danny Boy went into the Hall of Fame. Teddy Long went into the Hall of Fame, which was really cool because Gerald Briscoe is the one that actually put him in. And just hearing the stories that Gerald Briscoe was talking about Teddy, and Teddy, probably had a 20-minute speech about himself, and talking about his time with the Taker and Ron Simmons, and Butch Reed, and Butch Reed, of course, went into his family was there to be in to get the plaque and everything for him. And Butch Reed has a son, and that kid looks exactly like Butch Reed. So that was kind of cool. Ox Baker went into the Hall of Fame. His family was there. And, it was his daughter that accepted the plaque for him. And you know how Ox Baker was this tall guy? His daughter, very tall woman. You can very tell that she was the daughter of Ox. But man, it was a great time. Bunch of footage we were able to film, so hopefully that'll start rolling out so you guys can see some of that. SICW, I'm assuming too, will show some of the footage because Nate does the filming for both companies. So got to give Nate props out there. But hell of a time. And then we had the wrestling show, and it was great because there was wrestlers from all over. We had people from Iowa, we had people from Texas, people from Arkansas, people from Missouri, of course, Illinois, and then Southern Illinois. We had because Redneck Championship Wrestling was in the house, and he brought the American Giant to to the Fan Fest and have him sign autographs and stuff like that. Pull up that card and just go off of
So it's not all the matches. It's not all the matches, but we got some of the card here. You got Sean Vincent and Big Nasty Glenn Williams. I don't know who won that one.
I don't remember a lot of it either, but I won, but it wasn't for the belt. So Glenn Williams is still holding the belt, the Central States title, against Greg Anthony. That would have been a match I would have liked to see, but I think I was gearing up for my match as well.
And then, of course, you got Bobby D and Steve Fender, which you can look right there and see that I'm still the champ. So that one went over with me.
Yeah.
We were both fighting on the turnbuckle. I was outside, he was inside, and hit that sunset flip power bomb and got that quick win.
That's sweet. Lilith Khan wrestled against
Miss Hyde.
Yeah, Miss Hyde. Then we had the Battle Royal, the Bruiser Brody, Larry Madison, Tony Costa Battle Royal. And surprise, a smaller guy. Well, I guess I can't say surprise because Bobby's won it twice, and he's one of the smaller guys in their locker room too. But you figure most battle royals are won by bigger guys that people can't throw out. But I think it got down to like Gary Jackson and the Beer City Bruiser and Attila and James Jeffries. And James Jeffries ended up pulling it out. I wish I could have been there to watch it, but I was already out and eliminated and on my way back to the locker room before I could see who won. But so James Jeffries won it. Barbara Goodish, Frank's widow, got into the ring, and of course, like she does every year, hands over the trophy. So James Jeffries got it, and he in his speech was saying that how he loves Bruiser Brody and he hopes to carry on his legacy. So it's kind of cool that he won it. James Jeffries is an awesome guy. He's been wrestling with us for years now.
He's a good dude. I've gotten to know him from going to the CAC. We'll hang out and talk a little bit out there too. Like, he's just a genuinely good dude.
Yeah.
Every time I see him, we always have a laugh. Funny dude.
Well, he when I was out for my almost having a heart attack and in the hospital for a week, I bet you he called me every other day just to check up on me. So that's kind of cool. Very rare do you have friends like that that will make sure you're doing good.
Well, being the cup winner, we're gonna have to bring him on the show.
That's true. I should probably reach out to him for that. One of the that I did for the fan fest, of course, I didn't because he didn't come. But from the movie The Iron Claw, the A24, this was Kevin Von Erich. Of course, this was not Kevin Von Erich. This was Zac Efron playing Kevin Von Erich. But the original Kevin Von Erich figure, I seen it today. Someone on Facebook is selling it for $450 for my blood. So that was the next best thing I thought, was to get that one since that movie just came out, especially how it's kind of related to us, where we were able to see the movie before anyone else and kind of give a little our opinion, thoughts, and previews about the movie. So that was kind of cool.
And I stole it from A24.
Maybe one day Kevin will come in and I'll already have it ready for him. So, and one cool thing about not that he canceled being cool, but Herb was able to get him on speakerphone and put the microphone next to this to his phone, and Kevin was able to talk to everyone and tell them what was going on. And wishing that he could have been there, but just the weather prevented him from getting on the plane. So at least the fans that were there, that was expecting Kevin to be there, heard it from the man himself of what was going on. But very cool weekend. Just staying at the hotel, seeing everyone there. mingling with everyone because you know, once you're at the hotel, there's no really reason to leave. You know, you have the bar there, you have the restaurant there, so everyone was able to mingle with each other and talk shop and just reconnect with everyone. So even the fans were welcome to come and go, and the legends treated those fans like they were family as well. And that's one cool thing about, and this happens at every fan fest that we've had so far. I can't say for like the Indiana Fan Fest that I've gone to because I never stayed the night in the hotel, so I didn't know if the legends really mingled. But at SICW, the legends stay in the hotel, they mingle with everyone, and it's always a good time. But I do have to say that the flea market was also this weekend. So Sunday, when I packed up the ring and parked it, went straight to the fairgrounds and picked up some cool things like this Minton package, Big Show, or the Giant, whatever you want to call him. This is the WCW Giant. So it's kind of cool that he's still in the package and everything. Picked him up. Picked up a couple little ones. I thought it was funny that a boogeyman, a Goldberg, Booker T, and even a Sergeant Slaughter back when he was the commissioner. So that was kind of cool. I think I picked up some Ninja Turtles stuff as well. But yeah, I had 2 deliveries come. I had one from the exclusives, which was really cool about Andre, as he comes with his black gear too. So, like, this is like the 70s Andre the Giant. Always wore colors, had the fro, but you can take his fro off and on the most common version of Andre, and his boots come
Except for
off.
the fact that that figure has a 6-pack and Andre has never had a 6-pack in his life.
Well, look up Andre when he first became a wrestler. He was muscular, and that's because he came from farming. So he was a farmer before he became a wrestler. And
Yeah, I heard his story about lifting Volkswagens.
yeah, so this one is just so cool. I'm probably gonna have to buy another one just because I want one in the blue with the fro, and then I want one in the black because it's got the black singlet that covers up the blue. So that was an awesome get. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to see if I can pause this. Can I pause this? I'm just going to turn the camera off for a second. So you guys can still hear me, right? Nope.
You can see him now.
All right.
He's turning the camera off because he only wears a t-shirt and nothing underneath. So he needs to get up.
Right.
You want to see them tidy whities, all them yellow stains on them.
So I talked about this in a podcast, and it came literally today. And this was a pre-order from well, now I can't remember who it was from, but see, as soon as this camera kicks back in, this is the Jeff Hardy that glows in the dark.
The glow up box.
Yeah, so it's the new packaging. You open the button, and it's a black lit. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off again here real quick, and turn the light back on so you can see it.
Yeah, my youngest just texted me that picture of that one. He wants that one for his birthday. He's already asking for it. So you'll be able to see it a lot better. Yeah, so this
cover art opens up. Oh, I still got the light on. Let me turn the light off. But very cool pictures of Jeff Hardy.
I like that figure.
Yeah, it is. You know, it's such a cool figure. Done by AEW, ringside exclusive. That's who makes them. But yeah, so I mean, that's just one of the pre-orders. I think I ordered that January, February, March. Probably in March I ordered that, and it just came in. I was supposed to get that new Sabu that we talked about today as well. That was a pre-order, so that'll probably hit me this week, and we'll probably get to show it off on the podcast next week. But definitely, if you're a fan of wrestling, this weekend was a blast. Some people that I don't never met, but now we're friends on Facebook. Some people that Amy was talking to are now friends with her on Facebook from just going to the shows. Well, going to the Fan Fest. There was a guy who was there from some sort of podcast, and they actually was doing a podcast today, and they were talking about the Fan Fest, and so I tuned in just to see what they about it, and they had a great time. They didn't realize all the legends that was going to be there when they got there, and realized that the Rock and Roll Express and Jerry the King, along with like a Boogeyman or Rikishi, they didn't believe it, of the mix. And they stayed for the wrestling show. And talk about Lilith Khan and how tall she is and her chops. They were talking about the chops a lot because they said that even in the Battle Royal, there was a lot of chops going on. A lot of times in Battle Royals, you don't see chops, but definitely, everyone in our locker room loves to chop each other. So, but it seems like everyone had a great
You're the
time.
king of it, so.
I could tell you Steve Fender ate quite a few of them.
Yeah, so I wrestled in a tag match. It was actually kind of it was supposed to be me and Jason Breed, but the last minute something happened to Joey. He wasn't feeling good. He was actually in the bathroom puking. He was supposed to face Brandon Beretta. So last minute curve, they sent Jason Breed out to wrestle match. It's me and Joe versus from Arkansas. I wish I can remember his name, but someone I haven't wrestled till now, and it was very cool. It was a good match. I always love wrestling.
And he's gone again.
That's just his microphone's turned off again. That's like he was cutting out like crazy, and now his microphone's off. I'm guessing he can't hear us because he's still going. Now it's back on.
The wind picked up over here. I have a bunch of trees and limbs and shit hitting the window. On this end, we had a tornado warning to get in the basement at midnight last night. So
Yeah, I got that too. It was kind of crazy, but then we didn't get nothing.
I slept through all those warnings. It's fine.
I don't know where it cut off on when I was talking about my match, but the guy does a lot for AEW. So he.
Mr. Saturday Night, David Berry.
There we go. Was that his name?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I always love wrestling new people. Even though he's not new, he's been around the block, but it was good to wrestle someone different. I love that. Good match. Me and Joe Helms came up as victors. I nailed him, Mr. Saturday Night Live, with lariat. So that ended that match, and our hands were raised. So it was very good. yeah, so man, it was just a great weekend if you're a wrestler or wrestling fan. If you're a fan of old or new wrestling, because we kind of had it all. Um, but man, had a blast. And hopefully, if everyone who's hearing this podcast and watching it, text Herb Simmons and tell him that we need a Fan Fest 4. Because believe it or not, it normally starts, prepping, immediately after the previous one happens. So since that was this past weekend, we need to start prepping for next year's. It's always a great thing to get in his ear too, because the more fans, beg for it and want it, the more likely he is to say, "All right, guys, let's do another one."
Let's do it.
Yeah, and his saying too is, if we're gonna do another one, we got to do it better and bigger than the previous. I think we finally got the great hotel. Um, you know, uh, so I think that's lined out. It's so cool being at the Hilton, which is right across the street from the airport. So that helped relieve some stress off of Herb Simmons. Because they can come and go as they pleased. They didn't have to wait around for someone to drive them to the airport like we had to do the last couple of years. And matter of fact, a lot of the legends were posting videos talking about we're all in this, shuttle, and we're going back to airport. Just leaving SICW Fan Fest, and it was just great. Robert Gibson and Ricky Morton has already posted about what a great time they had. So did Abdullah the Butcher. So all these guys, they had a blast. And definitely got to owe it to the fans too for showing up and giving
Well, for Abdullah, the moment he came in, he had a smile on his face until the moment I left and went back to the studio.
And the funny thing is about Abdul, he literally got off the shuttle from the airport, got into the hotel, got his room key, and then went straight to the Q&A. He didn't go to his room. He didn't check his bags. He didn't do anything. He went straight to the Q&A, and he had some stories, and there were some good ones. So definitely a great person to have at any fan fest. Man, what a great time! I can't talk enough about it. So, um, anything else you guys want to? Oh, we should talk about June 7th and June 8th. June 7th is in Shawneetown. It's a new city for us to go to. It's going to be headlined by
Tommy Rich.
Wildfire and Attila.
Wildfire and Attila. So Tommy Rich we've had in before. He actually did a class with the Ace Academy, which was kind of cool. Was trying to teach the students some stuff. Great guy to have on there. Wild guy to have on there too. He's crazy. Former NWA World's Champion. So he's going to headline that whole weekend. So it's a Friday show, a Saturday show. That Saturday we're going to be back in Collinsville at the Firemen's. What do they call it? The Firemen's.
I think it's called the Fireman's Hall.
Fireman's Hall. So Friday night in Shawneetown, and then Saturday back in Collinsville. It's going to be a crazy weekend, and it's just a couple weeks away. So it's
Sunday TV tapings.
Yeah. So a crazy weekend. But yeah, definitely. Guys, anything else?
Heard you got. I mean, in other wrestling news, the boy went down to Kentucky to do a regional, which is multiple states combined, and took 5th down there. So for a 3rd time this year, he's qualified for nationals.
Awesome.
He went ahead and did this one in a different weight class. So.
Oh wow! So maybe at nationals he can choose what weight class he wants to be at.
Yep, that's why he went down there.
Wow!
But
and qualified again.
Can he do all 3? Because when I did 2 different weight classes, I did both at the same time.
So you cannot. But if he wanted to do freestyle at 150 and Greco at 157, he could. But his goal was to be able to do 150 for both of them.
Wow.
So,
and then what's even cooler though, and this is probably a little outside of your guys' realm here, but like he got to watch Kyle Dake and Starachi against each other. Like there was a big like national freaking matches there. Between those two, there are 9 NCAA titles on that one mat.
Wow.
Well, he's gonna have some of his own too.
So that was a pretty cool event going down there as well for amateur wrestling.
That's awesome.
And you,
Do you record any of his matches that we can put up on the squared ring?
Yeah, I got them all.
Do we need to start posting them then?
I can send you.
yeah, that would be sweet. Besides, it'd be something different to have on here. So, look forward to this. You know, if you're watching this, of course, you're seeing it on Thursday, but there's going to be some other videos, some interviews we did at the Fan Fest that you know, Nate's going to cut and splice and put together for us. Very cool. When he can, you know, once he's feeling.
No, I'm actually doing that right now.
Well, perfect. All right. So, definitely a cool weekend. We got some more shows coming up. You know, we got NASCAR right around the corner too, so that's coming up pretty quick.
In June.
Yeah.
I just got rid of my burn from last time.
Yeah, so it's gonna get pretty crazy for us here in a little bit. So I'm welcoming it. At the same time, you're like, damn. But all right. So from everyone at the Squared Ring Podcast, you know, thank you for tuning in. Please like and share. You know, leave a comment. We love to talk to our fans. You know, so many people talk to us outside of the podcast. You know, at different wrestling shows, I have people come up to me. I had a few come up to me at the Fan Fest. You know, shake my hand and talk to me, and then
Jim likes hugs.
okay.
Give me a big old hug.
Yeah, so even at the Fan Fest, I had a couple fans come up to me and introduce themselves and tell me that they love the podcast. Would love to actually see the comments on the podcast too, because that helps us with the algorithm, along with liking and sharing. So please help us out. Yeah, you guys have a good night, and we'll see you at the wrestling matches. See ya.
See ya.